Cloud. Welcome to Philosophy 1100. I am sorry, I'm trying to get my volume is, if I turn it one way, it turns up, and if I turn it the other way, or if I turn it one way, it turns down. If I turn it the other way, it also turns down. So that's why I'm just staring at the screen right now. This is going great. All right. So, yes, this is Philosophy 1100. This is our first class of the semester and hopefully our last online class of the semester. Do people care about the long and sordid tale of why on earth we have to do Zoom today, or do you not really care? In which case, I'll just push ahead and we can jump right into syllabus and all the business stuff.
I'm kind of curious.
Okay, so here's the situation. CUNY has a policy, or at least Baruch has a policy, of a certain percentage to have in-person classes. A certain percentage has to have their vaccine paperwork completed and put onto CUNY first. Otherwise, it's deemed that anyone who doesn't have that might be unvaccinated, and you need a certain amount of space in the room so that everyone can social distance. You all did great. You guys passed the test. We are allowed to meet in person. However, I teach another class immediately after this one that doesn't meet the criteria. And because I can't teleport from my apartment to Baruch, and I had no way of running a Zoom session from Baruch this week, you guys got stuck having to meet on Zoom too. Luckily, next week, Baruch has figured out where I can teach my second class on Zoom, which means I can meet with you all in person. So starting next week, we will be in person, good to go, and I will actually see everyone's smiling faces. Well, I really won't see your smiling face. I'll see your smiling eyes because, again, masks. So I guess this is the, and you'll probably only see, we'll talk next week once we're in person. We have a better idea. We can decide whether I need to be masked, whether you want me masked, what sort of mask I should wear. I went down an internet rabbit hole the other day, and I saw they're now making these really fancy masks that I can't afford that have built-in speakers and microphones. So like you talk into the mask, and then it's like a big piece of plastic that has little filters in it. And then the microphone then projects on speakers on the outside. Of course, I could never afford such a thing, but they do exist, which I feel like would make teaching easier in a mask. Also, I hope somebody knows like CPR brings oxygen, because if I am teaching in a mask, I'm definitely gonna hyperventilate at some point. Somebody might have to, call the EMS. But all right, so enough of my blathering. The other nice thing about meeting on Zoom for the first class is just like Bane and Batman, I don't have to worry about being in the wrong room because I made the room and you're all here. So Phil 1100. I am David Neely. You can call me David. You can call me Professor. You can call me Professor Neely. You can call me Mr. Neely. You can call me really anything other than Sir. Sir weirds me out. I look for my father and I just feel old, and I'm getting old enough as is, and I don't like that. So just whatever you want to call me, feel free. Hey, you, that works. Really, anything goes. Once we start meeting in person next week, we can talk a little bit more about attendance and all those sorts of things. I'm not taking attendance today, but I will be taking attendance starting next week. You know what? I'm just going to share my screen now so that we can just literally go over the syllabus together. Because of all the things I just discussed in terms of we were in person and then we were on Zoom and then we were back in person, this syllabus has changed about 12 times in the past 2 days, which means that there's a chance that I made some sort of mistake on it, in which case I will make an updated syllabus ASAP and make sure to share with you all that 2.0 version. So if going through this, we find any issues with the syllabus, we will fix it and I will send a new one. Any just basic questions thus far? Anything at all? Can you see the screen? I mean the shared thing. All right, awesome. Okay, so this is our class over here. It is. Also, if you have any questions right now, I have the chat up next to my screen sharing thing. So if you have any questions, just feel free to type in the chat. All right. So this is our class, Ethics and Critical Thinking, Philosophy 110. Oh, yeah, 1100. And our section is PTRA. That is an important thing to keep in mind because my other section is running differently. So in any email or anything, make sure to include that PTRA thing. It is fall 2021. Once we start meeting next week, we will be in the vertical campus on the 10th floor, room 165. We meet Tuesdays and Thursdays. We are officially meeting twice a week, and it's from 5:50 to 7:05. All right, that's me. These are my 2 email addresses. Either one works. It's totally up to you which one you email. Usually, if I'm sending a mass email, I will email you back from whichever email address you email me to, except if I'm sending a mass email to the whole class, it'll probably come from the Gmail because I cannot figure out how to copy multiple email addresses into the Baruch email thing. I managed to send it to one. Baruch keeps trying to send it to a single person who is just all your email addresses put together, and such a person doesn't exist. My office hours are by appointment, and the philosophy department is vertical campus, floor 5, 295. I'll be honest, I don't know if I have an office. I started teaching at Baruch last year when we were all online and my office was Zoom. So I might have an office, I might not, but if we ever meet in person, we will find a place that works for you. It can be anywhere in the vertical campus. I'm flexible. Also, basically, the reason I like to make office hours by appointment is that what I find is if I have a set office hour time, then nobody comes for the vast majority of the semester and I just sit there. And then when time comes that we have something due and people want to meet, there's not enough time in the office hours to cover everyone. So what I'd much rather do is come time there's a paper or a midterm or something like that, I will have office hours whenever you want to meet with me. And I can, if you want to meet in person, I will stay on campus until the last person leaves. I can get there early. I can come on a different day. You just tell me when. We'll figure it out. We'll make something work. All right. Introduction, I leave this to you all to read. Course objectives, I leave this all to you to read. We'll be talking next class about what on earth is this class, etc. All right. General information. This is the stuff that I had to change 6 times. So if there's typos or anything, just let me know if you see something. All right. Other than this first class, we will be meeting in person in the vertical campus. Do your best to arrive on time. It can be distracting to other students if you show up late. Plus, if no one's there at the start, it hurts my feelings. True. I get very sad. The main thing, though, is it can be really disrupting to everyone else. Of course, I understand this is New York City. If the subway system sucked before COVID, I can't even imagine how bad it's going to be now. So there are going to be times stuff comes up. If you come in late, just make sure I see you so that I can record that you're there. All right. I have no issues with students taking phones. Basically, take your notes however you want. Phones, laptops, tablets. Do your best to not text during class. I understand it's the modern world. We're all addicted to our phones. Sometimes you can't stop it. Do your best. And if you absolutely positively have to do something on your online shopping, you forget your mother's birthday, something like that, just sit at the back of the room. If you're going to be playing video games during class, again, sit at the back of the room. It's your choice. You can spend your time doing whatever. Just don't distract everyone else. So please sign your emails with your full name. And again, make sure the class section, we're PTRA. And again, that really matters because if you ask me a question, there might be a different answer depending on whether you are the in-person class or the other class. All right. If you, for any reason, need to miss a class, just let me know. I'm happy to give you an excused absence for anything. Oh, I see one thing that I forgot to put down. I will update this, which is the attendance policy. I took it off because I thought we were going to be meeting online for a bit. But basically, how it's going to work is you're going to have 3 excused absences, or you're allowed 3 unexcused absences where you just do not show up. You don't tell me why, no points off. Then if it's excused absences, I'm going to be very lenient. It's still a pandemic. So if, somebody's coming up and, you get sick or a family member gets sick or something comes up, you just email me and be like, hey, I'm not going to make it to class, and I'll just mark down that you're excused, no questions asked. If you want to bring in a doctor's note for your own well-being or just to make sure that it's on the record for your own sake, feel free. But my general policy is if you say you're sick, you were sick. If you say something happened, it happened. I trust you all. That's the only way this semester will work, so go for it. If you want to have 27 grandparents die this semester, making them all up, feel free. I'm not going to check death certificates. All right, the next thing, and I will include that on version 2.0 of the syllabus. The next thing, there's going to be a buddy policy. Basically, I get a lot of emails, and because of this, I don't always respond to everyone's emails as quickly as I want to, especially now that we're going to be in person and commuting and all that sort of stuff. So starting next week, I'm going to make everyone exchange information with some buddies. So basically, you're going to choose 2 to 3 other classmates and just exchange your contact information. And what the point of the buddies are is they are your first line of communication for basic sorts of things. So things like, did professor say when this is due? Or I missed class, did you happen to whatever? Or, hey, my internet's down, can you let the professor know that I'm not going to make it to class today? Just anything like that, basic sort of stuff. This way, the emails that come to me are the more important sorts of things that a buddy couldn't answer. I notice them more quickly, I respond to them more quickly. If, of course, you have any questions that your buddy cannot answer, either because they're not responding, or it's like a topic question where you've tried to get an answer together and you haven't gotten one, feel free to email me. Either of those emails work. I try to respond within 24 hours. I'm usually pretty good with it. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's faster than that, sometimes it's a little slower, but that's that. All right, any questions thus far on the syllabus on the basic businessy things? All right, if no questions, then on to the COVID stuff. All right, school policies, all students must wear masks in class, regardless of vaccination status. I think it looks like some of you either are on campus or near campus right now. I'm not even sure if they're letting you in the building if you aren't wearing a mask. If they are, and for some reason you get up to the classroom without a mask or your mask breaks or something, I'll bring some extras, but I'm not going to have enough to like supply everybody. So just make sure to bring a mask. Also, legally, I'm not allowed to ask anyone if you are vaccinated. You're allowed to share that with me if you want to, but you in no way have to. But if you're unvaccinated, you are required to social distance from everyone else 6 feet. So please make sure that you're 6 feet away from people. It's going to be an honor system because I can't ask. Usually I don't give a crap about eating in class, but because of the mask mandate, I'm going to have to say no eating. You can drink water, or drink whatever you want. Just pull your mask down, drink, put it back up. Lastly, virus is ever changing. Delta's going around. Things are likely to change. So please make sure to check your emails and the Blackboard regularly. I will post anything that comes up on there. And I will be asking you all, basically your first homework assignment is going to be due Monday. However, it is going to basically be, tell me your name and answer some yes/no questions about the syllabus. So it shouldn't take you too long. Oh, and give me your email address. So don't stress about that yet. And it's going to be worth just as much as the others. So you'll get off to a good start where hopefully, you know your own name and all that sort of stuff. All right. Grading and course requirements. So the final grade is going to be calculated as follows. I'm terrible at math, but I think I got this. Well, actually, I'm decent at math. I've just stopped caring. Now that I have a calculator, I've stopped, which means basic math is hard. All right. So the way it's going to come down is you are going to have the following. You're going to have 6 weekly assignments. And those are going to run from this first one through a bunch of like homeworks about the basic stuff on the semester. So there'll be 6 of those. Then there will be a midterm, and that will be in class, blue book, all the fun jazz. We will see how it goes. My guess is I will probably make it too easy and everyone will get an A, and then I'll feel bad, but also feel fine. Thesis writing and outline assignment. Those are going to be specialty weekly assignments due towards the end of the semester. There's going to be a final paper, which will be 3 to 5 pages, and then there's going to be participation. All right, let's talk about each one. So the weekly assignments are going to be posted and turned into Blackboard. The first one is already up on the Blackboard. If for some reason your Blackboard's not working and you want to reach out to me, just email me and I can send it to you that way. Most of the time, basically all but one of the weekly assignments, which gets all messed up because of when the Jewish holidays fall and what days we can actually meet. Most of the classes, most of the time are classes are going to be meeting, or the homework is going to be turned in at 8 a.m. on Monday. So basically, you turn it in by 8 on Monday. I then have about 24 hours, 36 hours to grade them all and be ready to talk about them in class on Tuesday. Thesis and outline assignments, basically, they're going to be straightforward, pass, fail. The first one is basically going to be like, here are some, just come up with some sample theses, practice writing them. And the second one is going to be just like write a very broad outline of your paper. They're basically designed because some of you will have never written a philosophy paper, and those of you who have, it always helps to remind yourself of the basics. Just to practice, it's basically the farther out from the due date you start your paper, the better, more likely it's going to be good. Not always, but more likely. And so this just encourages you to have to start a little bit ahead of time. And we're going to talk a lot more about those once we get closer to the due date. Final papers. We're also going to talk a lot more about the final paper when we get closer. But it's basically, I'm going to provide you all with 4 paper prompts. They are going to be made up. They're going to be involving fictional characters from the deep, dark depths of my mind. You will have to respond to just one of the prompts on the final paper. Each one is going to be the usual type, double space, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to have a certain file name. I'm going to jump up and down about the file name over and over and over again. So don't worry about this stuff now. And it's going to be due on Blackboard. By the end of the day, it's due. Actually, that might not be correct. I may have changed it to 8 a.m., but don't worry this way. Basically, it's going to be due on actually, we can scroll down and see. Yeah, it's due on, I was going to make it due the end of the day Thursday, but I moved it to 8 a.m. on Friday, just for those of you who are night owls and like to cram your papers the night before. No judgment, I was one of those people. So again, I'll correct that on version 2 of this syllabus, but that's that. You really do not stress about the papers until we get there. And once it becomes time, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about them. All right. Every day a paper's late, you're going to lose 1/3 of a grade off of it. So if you turn in an A paper 2 days late, it'll be a B+. But honestly, that's not as important right now because it's going to be the end of the semester and you can't wait too long because grades will be due. So really, it's more a matter of just getting your paper in on time or talking to me about extensions, which I'll talk about in a second. All right, 10% of the grade is participation. So actively participate in class. I personally, I know different teachers have different styles. I don't like cold calling on people. I feel like it's rude if somebody's shy to like put them on the spot. Occasionally I will do it, but I prefer not. So if you're somebody though who doesn't want to talk in class, how can you participate? Well, one thing is if you're just like, I can tell by your eyes whether you're paying attention or doing your online shopping. So the more you're paying attention, the better. Also, if you're somebody who just, you have a question about something from class, I count if you reach out to me with a question on email, I count that as participation. You're actively engaging with the stuff. Anything like that can be participation. You stay after class and ask me a question. That's participation. You schedule and come to office hours. I'm willing to consider that participation. Just anything that shows that you are not completely not paying attention. Lastly, to pass the class, you must take the midterm and turn in the final paper. Basically, it's because theoretically, if you got 100% on everything but didn't turn in a final paper, you could get a 70 and technically pass, but I don't like that. I wanted to make sure everyone gets the practice paper and does the midterm. So it's much better to turn them in late or ask for an extension or something like that. All right, last thing. This is in a regular bullet point like everything else, but I think this is an especially important one, so I'm going to highlight it for the time being. Basically, extensions. There are some professors who really care about due dates and that sort of thing. For those of you who had my class before, I'm not one of those people. There are many people who will teach you the importance of due dates. I will leave it to the people who have strong opinions on this. For me, basically, my opinion on extensions are, I want you to turn in a paper that you are happy with. I want you to be not like, if your options are get 2 hours of sleep or turn in your stuff 2 days late, I'd much rather you turn it in 2 days late. You've all got enough going on in your lives. So if you need an extension, let me know. Just reach out, let me know the situation. We'll figure something out. It can be a couple days, it can be a week, like just work it. We'll figure something out. Do not add that stress on top of it. Even if it's the sort of thing where like, it's a COVID thing where you, ideally you'll ask me for an extension before the things due. But if something comes up and you don't get to ask till afterwards, I'm still willing to hear you out. We still have a pandemic going on. There's still people who are going to be sick or family members are going to be sick. Just let me know whatever you're comfortable letting me know, and I will work with you to find extension times. All right, any questions thus far on those sorts of business things? I'll pull them up as best I can. Okay. Doop, doop, doop. Schedule and reading. So basically this, assuming we find no mistakes, is the entire schedule for the semester. The way it works is over here, you have a list of the class day, what week number it is, and then over here is what the topic is, and then any readings that are due for that day. So for instance, or any homeworks that are due on that day. So for instance, next Monday, August 30th, you have homework 1 due. Again, that's just telling me your name, what you prefer to be called, etc. Second thing is also the other big thing on that day, I'm going to ask for your email that you prefer to be reached at. Yeah, reached at which I can reach you best. Just because I'm going to be sending emails, I want to make sure if anything comes up, I can reach you quickly and easily. All right, then, however, then the next thing, August 31st, reasoning in the wild. So that's the topic we'll be discussing that day. And then here are the readings for that class. We have why Ronaldo better than Messi, why watch Marvel in a chronological order, why Kendrick Lamar is the artist of the decade. These, all of the readings for this class are currently posted on the Blackboard or can be clicked on from this link here. So anything for this, you don't have to spend a cent for the readings for this semester. It's all on Blackboard. I don't know how technically legal all of them are, but just don't tell on me and we'll be okay. And yeah, so that's all the readings will be there. They're already posted. They're in alphabetical order, so don't like plan to read them in the order that they're on the Blackboard. But everything you need for the semester is on there. Or it's one of these readings from Palmer's like course website. But basically, yeah. All right, the other things to highlight are the when things are due and when we have no classes. So next week we have class Tuesday, Thursday, but then the 7th is Rosh Hashanah and we have off that day. Then we have class that Thursday, the following Tuesday, and then it's Yom Kippur. And then we have a nice long stretch to a midterm, and then we have a long stretch all the way up to Thanksgiving. So we don't have any, good news is we don't have any of those weird CUNY days where they decide to turn a Monday into a Thursday because of yada, yada, yada. So luckily we don't have any of those. Now, in terms of just the way the semester is scheduled, just overall structure, the first couple classes are basically going to be a, what is this class? Why are we here? What is critical thinking? What's the point of it? Then we're going to jump into, to put it bluntly, the most boring part of the semester. We're trying to get it over with. It's basically just a lot of stuff. I mean, maybe you're a more logical, mathematical sort of thinker, and you're going to find modus ponens and all these sorts of how to make sure something is true really fascinating. I'm not necessarily one of those people, and I will try to make it as interesting as I can, but no promises. There will be a bunch of homeworks through here, but this is basically like the groundwork to thinking well is going to run up through week 5, and then week 6 is going to be how you do it badly. So basically everything before the midterm is going to be how do you the what's the best way of putting this? The rules of reasoning and thinking well, or what is critical thinking. So that'll be up to week 7. Then starting with week 8, it's going to take a more, what's the best way of putting this? Basically, a more psychological or looking at the human mind for, if these are all the rules for reasoning well, why the hell do we make so many mistakes and why are we so irrational? And so that's going to be weeks 8, 9. They're basically going to be looking at a lot of different reasons that we make thinking mistakes, or why, if we know what we should do, we still make all sorts of irrational decisions in our lives. Or more importantly, how is it that other people can exploit us and use our own mental tendencies against us? So what is it about an advertisement that is designed to make you buy a product you don't need? Why is it that Instagram ads are so effective at getting you to buy things that when they show up in your mailbox, you're just like, why did I spend money on this? What do they do so well? Why are they so effective? Then we are going to move on to just some more general ethical topics. So that is going to kind of be applying our critical thinking from earlier in the semester to a whole bunch of different topics, basically, I find interesting or are foundational. So the first ones are just going to be, because this is like an ethics and critical thinking class, we're going to start off with just some basic, what is ethics? And we get to play the fun trolley problem game. For those of you who know trolley problems, you might find them boring at this point. I always find them fun. I like to make them weird and then see what everyone's thoughts are. Then we're going to do cultural relativism, which is, again, a more pure ethics sort of view. Then we're going to turn into basically applied ethics, and specifically applied ethics in a modern world. So it's going to be looking at applying our critical thinking skills we've learned to a lot of topics that are related to ethics and the internet, or ethics and modern technology. So we'll be looking at the way in which hate speech has changed and free speech has changed now that the internet is a thing. We'll talk about cancel culture, that sort of stuff. Then we're going to talk about the internet and democracy, and whether having the internet has been a good thing or a bad thing for democratic nations. And then the next two, we're going to be talking about privacy. Does the fact that your phone is constantly recording everything you do, is that good? Is it allowing you to have more control over your life? Or is it a scary big brother sort of thing? So that'll be weeks 12 and 13. Then 14, 15, 16 are just going to be paper writing. So basically what we'll do is we'll talk about why the hell are we writing a paper? Then we'll talk about how to write theses. Then we'll talk about how to turn theses into outlines. And then we'll talk about how to turn outlines into papers. The last day, we're probably just going to play catch up or wrap up or discuss any questions you have. And the paper is due a week after the last class on Blackboard. You're welcome to turn it in earlier, but you don't have to. Any questions on that general schedule sort of thing? I think it should be pretty straightforward. Again, if anyone catches any questions or anything before first class, just email me. I am around this weekend. I will be checking my email a lot. All right, now I get to, you can't see me because I'm sharing my screen, but I have my very, very serious don't plagiarize face on. So here's my very, very serious don't plagiarize face. Just imagine it. So that's what's looking at you right now. So basically, don't plagiarize. By plagiarize here, I mean any sort of taking work that is not your own and passing it off as your own for the goal of getting a better grade than you would have if you had crammed it yourself. So a few things about this. One, my paper prompts, which papers are probably the only thing that I think you're likely to plagiarize on. On that, it's very easy for me to tell if you've plagiarized. It's very simple because either you have random quotes that don't fit in, the voice tense changes. It's very clear you took someone else's paper and just right-clicked on each word and changed it to a synonym, so it just becomes word soup. All of these are things I've experienced, and I hate paperwork. And that's the number one thing about this is I have to fill out a bunch of paperwork. When I have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, I get grumpy. When I get grumpy, everybody loses, especially you. So just don't do it. And as I said, I'm very lenient with extensions. If you need an extension and your only other option is to plagiarize, I would much rather you reach out, even if it's 11:59 the night the paper's due, and just shoot me an email and be like, hey, professor, I'm not going to be able to get to this without plagiarizing. Would you please give me an extension? Also, like, I understand, I'm not saying anyone who plagiarizes is a bad person. I understand the urge. I know how busy many of you are. I know how hard it is in COVID times to stay on top of things. So I'm not judging you as a person. It just makes me very grumpy. Next, accessibility services. Basically, due to COVID restrictions, the accessibilities office, which is if you need extra time on a test, if you need a note taker, anything like that, they are who you have to contact. They've recently had to totally change the policies around. There used to be like a nice setup system. Right now, you have to email them or call them if you need anything. So if you need anything in terms of disability services, contact them. I am not trained or knowledgeable enough to get you what you need, or to deem, like, if you tell me that you need a note taker, I don't know how to go about doing that. If you tell me that you need extra time, I'm not qualified to say how much extra time you need or anything like that. So go through the accessibilities office, and it looks like it's disability service for the email address. Lastly, New York State education law provides that basically this is just if you have any sort of religious holiday, let me know. You're allowed to skip class, no questions asked. That's all that says. I am not allowed legally to punish you, not that I would anyway, but just know if you have some sort of holiday that you can't come to school for, just let me know and you will not be penalized in any way. All right. Any last questions before I stop sharing, show you my face, smile, and tell you all I'll see you actually in person on Tuesday. Jaleel, is that a hand?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because I'm sure you probably said it, but I may have missed it. When it comes to submitting homework, how do you want us to submit it?
Oh, very good question. So on the Blackboard, here, let me stop this share. So on the Blackboard, in the section that is called, what is it called? I think it is called weekly assignments. Where you click on the assignment, there should be a spot to turn it in there. It has like a number of points and you can just attach it there to the Blackboard. If at any point you're having trouble with, so first off, I understand like Blackboard is one of the worst created things in the world. Inevitably, someone's going to have a problem with it. If you at any point in the semester are having trouble with the Blackboard, just email me a copy of whatever, and I will never take off points if you have to email it to me. Just be like, hey, having Blackboard problems. Sometimes Blackboard decides to have you attach a document before it's ready, and then it won't let you delete it. So stuff will come up and I will work with you, but generally on the Blackboard, and I can show you all on Tuesday when we're in class, but there's a little link. So if with this first assignment you're having trouble, just email me a copy, or again, I'm not going to take off points for if you turn in your how do you spell your name correctly a day late. Like that's totally fine. Don't stress about it. But usually there's like a weekly assignments thing when you click on it to find the thing. When you find it, the document that the questions are on a Word and a PDF. I include both. I don't know what's easier for everyone to read. Once you do that and you finish it, you can just attach it there, send it in. I grade it all there. Oh, that's one other thing I should say. I hate Blackboard. I hate it with a passion, and Blackboard hates me back. Because of this, I do not post grades to Blackboard. I can't figure it out. I end up wasting half my life and I end up throwing my laptop out a window. I hate it. So the way I do all grades and everything on Excel. So if you at any point want to know what your grade is overall, email me and I will let you know and I can break it down with you. Don't expect it to appear on the Blackboard because I value my life. And Blackboard takes away, every time I have a Blackboard problem, it takes a year off my life and I like it too much. So any last businessy questions before I get to see you all in person on Tuesday, which like, I don't know if you are all excited to have in-person teaching, but I am so excited. I have not, there are a few things, I'm genuinely, I've been both a Zoom student and a Zoom teacher, and I'm not sure which one is worse. I don't know, like those of you who took I just had a class here or there. Those of you who made it through COVID every day on Zoom, all your classes, you all deserve, pardon my language, you all deserve fucking medals. That takes so much focus, so much discipline, and I'm like really impressed by all of you. I mean, those of us who are teaching, it wasn't especially funny either, because, you know, part of the fun, part of the like way that teaching works is I read off your faces whether what I'm saying makes any sense. And if you're just a little black screen, it's hard to tell. And again, that's not because I'm saying everyone should turn on your cameras. I understand the reasons not to, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way, but it's just human interaction. I am so excited to have humans talking to humans again, even if I can only see from your eyes up. Yeah, that is true. There is something nice about not having to leave your apartment or even your bed for class. So there is something very nice about, like, I finish and my commute is across a room. That I will kind of miss, but the teaching itself is going to be, and I just think class is going to be better in person. I just think we'll all feed off each other. We can interact. I think it's going to be a very, very, very nice thing. Oh, last thing. So I do not have the means to video record in-person classes at Baruch. So make sure that you are attending class if you want to see what's going on. Now, however, there is kind of a little sneak here, which is because my other class didn't meet the COVID quotas and has to meet on Zoom, I do have to record those lectures. So until they move to in-person, there are going to be Zoom recordings of another section covering the same topics. It won't, of course, involve the same people or be the exact same discussion. But if you end up missing a class for the first couple weeks, there will be a video recording of it. I will post those YouTube videos as well as this one here, just in case you want to see what I said about the syllabus again. But for the time being, but just know once we get going, it will no longer be that if you miss class time, you're just going to be able to watch a recording of it, because as much as I would like to have like a really nice, you know, studio, I don't. And Baruch, as lovely as they are, have not provided me with one. All right, I have nothing else I need to say right now. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns, feelings, anything? If not, I will say have a great weekend. I am so excited to see you all in person on Tuesday. And I will correct and post a slightly new version of this syllabus to Blackboard, but basically not much changes other than like 2 little things. So basically you can look at this version 1 syllabus for the time being, and it'll cover everything you need. Otherwise, I will see you all on Tuesday in person. Oh God, I'm excited.